sport in a safer environment, and we were successful in doing that. Those who say that this sport is too dangerous, first of all, don't know the history of this sport, and I think the video does a better job, certainly, than I could do in terms of talking about the evolution of the sport. And many people who talk about it as though this were 15 or 20 years ago instead of the present day. And so it's really important for people in the course of that dialogue to understand the evolution of the sport and the safety of the sport. In fact, many people in the area of neuroscience, experts in this, have actually said that mixed martial arts is safer than many other full contact sports. Look, the other thing I'd say is the men and women who participate are extraordinarily gifted athletes. People who think this is just, come out and sort of, rumble and brawl don't understand the amount of physical, mental, emotional training that this takes, and the discipline and the hours in the gym crafting their art. And this is an art. And so people ought to be mindful. Yes, there are enormous economic benefits, and that's very important in New York. We're the outlier now through all of North America. And so we need to do that. We need to recognize the sport has evolved, it is safe, and there are economic benefits for the state of New York if we do it. And let me just say one other thing, that for a lot of young people, and I actually have an office that's down from a mixed martial arts gym, and I see these young people, men and women, coming in every night, staying late, working, training. They're engaged in productive activities. And in many places, as I've often said, 70 years ago, a lot of kids came off the streets throughout New York, get off the streets and ended up in boxing halls, and whether they ever became professional athletes or not wasn't the important thing. It was that they were engaged in things that would improve their self-esteem and work on their discipline, etc. The same is true of mixed martial arts. It's attracting thousands and thousands, probably tens of thousands of young people, and it seems to me inconsistent that the state of New York doesn't first recognize it and regulate it to make it part of the mainstream sports culture in New York State. So I spoke longer than I was going to, but let me call up my great friend and partner from the great city of Rome, New York, Joey Riffo.
Thank you, Leader. I appreciate that, and you did so much that I can be brief. I really want to thank Mark and Lawrence and Lorenzo, because I think they've done an extraordinary job. Also want to thank Leader Morelli. I think that really will help make a difference here, because when someone of his stature and with his exceptional skills and respect that he has in the legislature, I think can really allow us to have a good conversation, discussion to make sure that we disavow the myths. And I think today what you saw in the video was an opportunity to show a change in attitude from many of those who in the past really were adverse to the sport, and as a result of how the sport has evolved, now you see there's a change in attitude. The statistics that you heard today really speak for themselves.